Pascal, thank you so much for having me down to the Paramount Hotel Dubai.
Welcome, Mark, and thanks so much for having me. Pleasure.
Yeah, listen, I've stayed in the hotel. We actually had a few of my teammates in the hotel for a bit of a conference day, so I know it well.
Please come back.
Yeah, no, we
Please
will.
come back.
We will. And we've grown a little bit since then, so a few more people to experience it.
Great.
But listen, for people watching and listening in, I'd love to just for the start to get a flavour of where you came from in terms of your hospitality career. Mm-hmm. You know, I know it's been a long stint so far, so you don't need to go into every role.
Yeah.
But maybe just some of the highlights, and then finish up obviously to what you're doing today at Paramount.
Sure. All right, a pleasure. Yeah, I mean, hospitality is just an amazing industry that inspired me as a little boy of 12 years old. Actually, I was walking somewhere in Germany, in Munich, one of the top 5-star hotels during the festive season. And I was just absolutely mesmerized by the glitz and the beautiness of how it looked during that festive season, and the attention to detail, just the whole feeling of it. And from that moment, I've said to my mother, when I grow up, which I still might not have done yet, right? This is where I want to work. This is what I want to be, and I have followed that. Dreamt about it a lot, and eventually I had a chance to join the hotel school in The Hague. I'm a Dutch original from the beautiful lowlands of the Netherlands. Did my hotel degree. And wanted to explore the world in hospitality, and I had some great luck and some great opportunities to spend my early years of my career in Asia Pacific, in a hotel and a corporate environment for one of the largest hotel companies in the world. Brought me to beautiful, amazing places like Hong Kong, Singapore, Indonesia, where I also met my wife. So along the travel, things happen. And through London, eventually I arrived in this beautiful part of the world, and came to Dubai in 2007. And like many of us, you come to this part of the world, you think maybe it's a couple of years, and etc. And here we are, about 15 years later, still enjoying this magnificent country.
Amazing. And actually my team's based in Amsterdam, so offices in Keizersgracht. So yeah, we're
beautiful city as well.
Yeah,
dangerous city, but a beautiful city, absolutely.
So interesting you started there, but we're at ultimately a flagship property. I know you've got a second property here, but this is a flagship. Everyone will know Paramount over in America, and just I think it'd be great for people listening in to just understand a little bit about the flagship, about the way you design the rooms, the way you walk across the corridors and you see all of these famous pictures, and just what the link is with Paramount and how that operates.
Okay, sure. Well, I mean, I think most people around the world probably know Paramount Pictures, and I'll say the Paramount Hotel is really an extension of the great movie house that has been, I think, delighting cinema lovers around the world for over 110 years right now. So it's really the hospitality extension of that. The Paramount Hotel Dubai here, the first one of its kind in the region here. We opened the doors in 2019, November. Very interesting time, of course. What happened shortly after that, but thankfully we have come out very strong. So let's not talk too much about that period. Let's just erase that. We have really established ourselves in the last 2 years as a very interesting new luxury lifestyle brand in the Dubai market. Now the exclusivity and elements of cinematic adventure is really something that we want to immerse ourselves within the hotel. Yes, we are a luxury lifestyle hotel, but really with a cinematic twist. As you probably already walked through the lobby, you see in the left corner, you already see Don Corleone smiling at you, on top of our Italian pastry vitrine. So that's already a little touch, what you can expect throughout the hotel. We live and we have designed the hotel with a couple of brand pillars in mind. Our key brand pillars are the old Hollywood glam. Really the old style cinematic elements from the early 20s and the roaring 20s, and where cinema really started developing. Another brand pillar is for us California cool, so really going back to that California lifestyle element. And as well, we try to bring in everything what we do and what we show a little bit of sophisticated mystery. Now, how that comes to play? Now you have stayed with us here, in the hotel, and you probably also must have thought, like, when you came into the hotel, so where's the television? What many of our guests are asking us, and then there's a little bit of a surprise that the TV is completely built into the mirror. So there's little surprises of that brings you back to that mystery, and also a little bit of discovery. Now, around the hotel, you will see a lot of elements of linkage to the great cinematic area. Above our reception desk, you probably have seen the two huge pictures of Marlene Dietrich and Gary Grant smiling at you. And going through many areas of the hotels, our food and beverage outlets, you will see always a bit of a linkage back to that cinematic era. One of the, I think, really special elements of our room configurations is our signature suites. We have about over 100 suites, and about 25 of those are called signature suites. So we have, for example, a Don Corleone suite that really transforms you into the movie sets of the Don Corleone movie. It's all really dark colored of wood finish used, leather Chesterfields, a beautiful cocktail bar built into the room, and we even have the classic Belmont chair in the bathroom. I would say almost like a barber room setup, where you see Don Corleone actually getting his shave in that movie. So there are really little touches of that linkage back to the cinema. And of course, I mean, where are we now, Mark? We're sitting in one of our prides. We're sitting in our private screening room that really transforms you back to that old era of cinematic exclusivity, suspense, transformation, like a time capsule. And here, of course, we are very pleased to show many Paramount movies. You stay in the Paramount Hotel, you have the chance to see complimentary movies throughout the week, a little bit of popcorn with you, and we want people to enjoy themselves. Now, we of course cater for a very wide type of audience. We're not just a leisure hotel. You have seen our rooms, you have seen our room product, very spacious, a minimum entry of 45 square meter. Our suites have beautiful working stations, a desk overlooking the beautiful skyline of downtown. I think you have experienced that, where people have a great place to work as well as enjoy themselves. So we have been very pleased that we have been able to tap into a lot of corporate travelers as well. We have been growing that considerably over the last 2 years. And without going through all the elements of the hotel, I think we will not have enough time. I still want to highlight one particular element. We call it always our little gem, and that's our flashback speakeasy bar, or cocktail lounge, I should actually say. That really transforms you to stepping back into the roaring 20s in the time of the Prohibition. Of course, it's not a Prohibition time right now, but it gives you that feeling of stepping back in time and experiencing that, where it's quite a small little cozy cocktail lounge, where we have 5 days a week just amazing talent performing live in an old and setting of the little jazz bars that you also find particularly around the States. We also have some great cabaret dinner shows that we host on Thursdays. It's called the Murder Mystery. Don't be afraid. Nobody really gets murdered. But it's a whole immersive experience, and a combination and an interaction between the audience as well as the performers, and stay within our brand pillars of that little sophisticated mystery, because people don't necessarily really know what's coming throughout the night. But that really has grown. I'm very pleased to say that we have been receiving quite a few awards on that, on that show as well, and the outlet. And it's really something that I would say, if you think about Paramount, what kind of linkage you will bring to an F&B outlet, I think please come and enjoy the Speakeasy Bar.
And that's amazing, and there was a lot there. I think if you're listening, maybe jump over to YouTube, because maybe we'll put the rooms and we'll overlay lots of the facilities that you've seen with video, so it'd be cool to see that. We always try to go like a little step deeper during these episodes, where the listeners might find out something that they can't get from just Googling the public sites. So Paramount Pictures, what like element of involvement do they have when it was coming to the design process? Like at the very start, like were they heavily involved in making sure it was on brand, or how did that work?
That was certainly heavily involved. That was really hand in hand, the development with the Paramount Picture Studios back in LA. We are the first brand of its kind that opened in the region here. There's a lot of plans also with Paramount to expand the brand also in the US and in Asia over the coming years. But it has been really developed hand in hand, and to be able to call yourself the Paramount with such a legacy over 100 years of just amazing entertainment, top class entertainment. Of course, there are very high standards that they will apply, and that we also need to work together to make sure that we are adhering to those, or that we're implementing those. And also, like Paramount Pictures, it's all about providing top quality, world-class experiences, and make sure that people really have some memories to take with them. And that is really something that we want to achieve by guests. We actually don't really say guests. Of course, we love our guests. We actually call them the leading stars. So we want our leading stars to really come over here, have an amazing experience, transforming themselves if they would wish to into some very different eras, that has a cinematic touch, but have a great experience of staying in a 5-star luxury lifestyle hotel here in Dubai, and obviously come back to us.
If memory serves me right, that's on the dressing gowns in the bedrooms. There's something about the leading star on the back of the names.
It's there, and you see when you walk through the corridors, you see a lot of the big movie stars along the corridors. It's always a bit of a guessing game. Sometimes we do that. We guess, hey, do you know Carol Lombard? Have you seen her there? So it's in everywhere where you walk around, there should be somewhat an immersive experience. Even when you go into our lobby and the check-in areas, you have floor-to-ceiling 360 digital screens that gives you really an immersive experience already of that cinematic experience by just arriving and checking into the hotel. So and that's just the start of your journey and adventure with us. And
it's in Dubai, right? Which I think, if you look at Paramount Pictures and you talk all about the experience, no better city than to do it in Dubai, right?
Absolutely.
And, you've been here for quite a while now. You've worked in other regions. What is it about Dubai, in your opinion, that just has it? Why is it number one right now?
Wow, it's. I mean, I've been coming to Dubai since 2003. So I have been, seeing it grow and develop. It's just incredible, the vision, and of course the leadership that has made it all happen. To really are very clear into what the destination wants to become and wants to be. And I think there's been a relentless effort and focus in order to make that come alive. I still remember in 2006, 2007 when the largest tower in the world was being built. A lot of people were saying, why was it? Why there? And why is it happening? And look now what downtown has become. And this is a world-class destination that now everybody around the world knows. And I think the element of pace that Dubai and the leadership of Dubai is allowing to transform themselves and to act on situations is quite incredible. Coming from Europe, where a lot of things are sometimes a little bit slower and on a slower pace to get things done. In Dubai, it's an idea, it's a great idea, let's go with it and make it happen. And I think a great example for that is how we came out of the COVID situation. Yes, there was a very strict plan from about 3 months, lockdowns, etc., to do that. Everybody did that. It was tough for everybody, but you know what happened, Mark? After 3 months, slowly we start opening up again. When the rest of the world was still completely closed, we're still figuring out in terms of what should we do. Should we use a mask? Should we not use a mask? Dubai was already in the state that eventually we could loosen up some of these kind of restrictions, and from there on, from strength to strength. And of course, the pinnacle was in the last year. I would say the greatest show on earth with the Expo 2020 that came over into town. This was just such an incredible experience for Dubai and for people to come to Dubai and experience the UAE. And we have a lot of people and a lot of visitors that came for the first time to Dubai during the Expo, and we have seen them returning already a couple of times because there is so much to see, there's so much to do and so much to experience in this amazing city. And I think we're both, quite lucky, and I think pleased that we are here every day to live this, right?
For sure. Even like you talk about the pace and how open they are to ideas. Like you obviously know a little bit about my company, and when we came here to digitalize a little bit of the guest experience,
Yes,
so
correct.
they wouldn't have to, if they didn't choose to queue up at the front desk. When I came to Dubai, I realized, you have to scan a passport physically at the desk. You go to someone like Assam Kazim in Dubai Tourism and you say, hey, why don't we make the city digital and we can do check-ins on the app by taking a picture of the passport? Is there any other government in the world that would say, that's a great idea, let's digitalize that experience and give you a contract to do it,
Probably difficult to find, and it's probably also difficult to actually get to speak to someone.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you talk about the Dubai tourism development and the former DTCM, it is a dialogue, it's an interaction. And it's an interaction in terms of, hey, we're all on the same bus, so we want to make sure that we are all supporting to even further develop this great city in one of the top cities in the world, which I think it already is. And that dialogue helps us to really work together and support each other in terms of achieving that on that journey.
It still baffles me that I'm a DM Assam on Instagram and WhatsApp and the head of the police, that's how we communicate, It's just, I just haven't seen that in any other city.
Absolutely. I mean,
it's an email you get responded a few weeks later.
You can pay anything on your app, right? Unfortunately, there's occasionly a fine that you will have to pay, right? But at least you can pay it easily and it's done. And it's interesting that you highlight the social media elements. The way also Dubai and the Tourism Authority has jumped into the whole social media transformation over the last couple of years. It's just amazing. It's incredible. A couple of weeks back here in Design District next door, you had a huge YouTube event. There's now in Dubai, we actually have at the present time in the hotel about 150 Arab guests that are young TikTok followers and content delivers. There's an award event, so I don't know if you're aware of it, in the next couple of days. So you might see them running around at the hotel, but that's also supported by the Dubai Tourism to arrange this kind of events. And of course, when you have this kind of audience coming to Dubai, you will have great content because that's what they do. And in what other city can you do so much content as in Dubai, where you can go to the beach, you can go to the highest tower, you do a little bit of skiing, and you can be mesmerized and immersed in a true Hollywood glam situation here in the center of Business Bay.
Listen, I think it's a lovely segue into what I wanted to finish up on, which is a topic close enough to my heart, where I studied hotel management as well, but in the Shannon College of Hotel Management in Ireland. And for me, I've always said that degree was like a passport to the world. If I studied law or accountancy, those practices are based on regions that have similar legalities or accountancy rules. You can't really transfer it as easily. With hospitality in every place across the world, you can jump from one to the other. Which you talked about TikTokers there, and a lot of the younger generation don't necessarily see hospitality as like a sexy industry per se. They might see the operational side of it, of the servers or the F&B workers, and it doesn't interest them. But like for me, I see it myself in hospitality, but I have a tech company in hospitality. You know what I mean? So there's so many different variables, and I would be keen to understand two parts from you. One is talk about the vibrancy of the industry and how it is a passport to the world, if you agree. And then secondly, were you struggling with getting people in from a younger age? Do you see that as a barrier in the future, and how do you think we can address it?
Well, that's a lot of questions, Mark. Let me just try to streamline that. Yes, hospitality industry, you need to have a passion for the business. If you don't have a passion of making people feel that they have a great time, then maybe the business is not for you. But coming back to your first point related to the passport of the world, absolutely. If I just look back at my career over the last 20 years, I've been able to work in three different continents, which I was also wanted to do. And there's always an opportunity to grow in different directions, in different countries, in different parts of the world. Certainly with tourism has grown so much over the last, I would say, 15, 20 years. You have seen popping up hotels and new hotel companies, new type of hotels like the Paramount Dubai, all around the world. So it gives a lot more opportunities as well. I think also our industry is also changing. When I started, going on hotel school, and eventually you had that career path to becoming general manager, and that career path was somewhere around between 15 to 25 years, right? Nowadays, with the new generation, you put that onto the table, they will run away. They say, wait a minute, I'm not going to wait that long, right? So we also need to do a transformation within the industry in order to give people a path, a clear career path, but also that moves a little bit faster in terms of the growth potential. But it's still one of the great industries if you want to experience different cultures, which was one of the key reasons why I also wanted to work around the world. I wanted to learn about how do they do things in Hong Kong, how do the people live and enjoy hospitality in Thailand or in Singapore or in Europe, and this industry has given me that great opportunity. Now, on the second question related to the young talents and the people. It's always a bit of a challenge that you need to start somewhere, right? And when you graduate from a hotel school or you did any other business course or you just wanted to have a career change and you want to start in hospitality, you just don't step directly into the role of general manager. It takes a little bit of time because it's probably useful to have a little bit of experiences in terms of different situations. But what we see a lot more young talent coming in. There's a lot more focus on hospitality schools. We also have hospitality schools and universities here in Dubai. We have some great hospitality schools in Europe that we work with. Of course, in India, in the Indian subcontinent. So there's a lot of development going on with hospitality schools. There's a lot of young talent, passionate about the business. And I always, when I worked closely together, and I always try to make an effort to speak and I would say mentor a little bit of our young talent, also in this hotel and beyond. And they often ask me, Mr. Pascal, well, what kind of advice would you have for me? And I always try to center that around a couple of points. I mean, the first thing is believe in yourself. And also create a little bit your own brand. Who are you? Don't let people tell what you just should do and try to act like that. Create a little bit of your own brand DNA, I would say. The second point I would say is that just don't focus on the money side in the early stage of a career. And I know it's maybe a bit of a difficult thing to say because a lot of our young talent is also coming from a lot of countries where they're supporting a lot of families. Of course, so the money element is absolutely critical. But sometimes if you can be a little bit more patient to gain the right experience, don't jump jobs after a year or 6 months in some occasions, just for like a fraction more in terms of salary. Be patient, focus on getting that experience right, because then you will grow faster. And I've seen that with a number of people that I've worked with for quite some years, and they have taken that path, and they really have grown to very senior leaders in the industry. The other element that I always tell people is that make sure that you keep your feet on the ground, stay humble, connect with your team members, be always approachable, and be there for support. Of course, we're in an industry where we have to look at the details, and eye for detail is absolutely critical. We have people coming from all over the world to stay with us with very high expectations, which they should have when they come to us in a 5-star luxury hotel like the Paramount Dubai, and we need to deliver that. So of course, sometimes there's also some corrective elements that need to take place, but do that in a way of supporting each other and make sure that people understand that they can approach you at any given time. And it doesn't matter if you stay early in your career or you grow to a very senior leader. Stay true to yourself and stay true to your team. I think that's some of those advices that I normally give the young hoteliers. And if I would have to say, as one of the most rewarding elements of my job and I would say my career, is to nurture talent, to be able to give back some of the great experiences I have had around the world, and support the people to be making the right decisions and to be successful in this amazing industry called hospitality.
Listen, I love that, Pascal. I think we've dug into so many great topics there. I want to finish on a bit of fun. Just a few quick fires, just a bit about yourself. And
sure.
Yeah, so listen, we're in Dubai. You wake up every day, it's blue skies, it's 30 degrees, apart from the few summer months. If you're booking a trip, where are you going? Are you going sun or are you going snow?
Ooh, I love to scuba dive, so if I have the chance, I'm not saying that this very frequently, but would love to go to down south to the Maldives or so, and just see the underwater world. Here we are transformed in a cinematic element. I like to immerse myself in the beautiful oceanic world. My little boy is now 14 years old, so hopefully soon he's able to get his paddy, and then let's do it together.
Love that. And are you more of a long weekend traveler, a couple of times a year? Do you like doing 2-week stints? Like, what's your vacation?
I used to be really cutting it into shorter trips, so you have more explorations. Now, of course, with a boy in school, you're a little bit bound by the school holidays. But we're still trying to do a little, I would say, separation of trips. At least 2 times a year, we could go somewhere for maybe a little bit of a shorter period. And of course, also with so many things happening in the region here and in the Gulf, there's also some great things to explore around that's actually very close to home, and that doesn't have to take a full week to go there.
Amazing. And finally, don't be political in this answer. I'm sure Paramount Hotel Dubai is the answer, but is there a hotel that you've visited personally over your life where you're like, wow, that is just the most amazing experience I've had, and it still sticks in your memory as something you'd like to highlight?
Yeah, I mean, it was when I had my first career. Of course, I have to say it's the Paramount Hotel Dubai, as what you said, Mark. Here you go. My first job after graduating from hotel school was in Thailand. One of the first great hotels I visited there was the Oriental in Bangkok. And we were talking about a legacy of a hotel. Everything when you step in there just oozes exclusivity, history. I think some of the great leaders of the world have had a coffee over there. So, and it's just a beautiful setting. So that was one of those hotels that I've always visited back when I visited Thailand. It just is a little bit the starting point, I would say, for my career also in that part of the world. And it's still going strong, and it's still one of those, I would say, classic hotels around the world.
Amazing. Pascal, listen, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you very much, Mark.
It.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.